Hi, I'm Julie Duell with Spotlight on Sparks. Today I have Kelly Goatley-Seals. She's with Washoe County, the Health District, and we're talking a little bit about an award that you just gave to our Sparks City Council. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. We have an award. It's called the Extra Mile Award, and we have been giving this award in the community since 2008. In 2006, for those that have been in Nevada for a while, will remember that we passed our Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act. Prior to that, when you walked into a restaurant, they would ask, do you want a smoking section or non-smoking section? We'd have smoking in our grocery stores. And so the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act changed that. But there's still some exemptions and some places that have room for improvement. So since 2008, we've been awarding the Extra Mile Award, and that awards businesses and entities recognition when they go above and beyond the laws that are required for the Clean Indoor Air Act. For example, we'll do a bar. We've awarded bars that have no smoking inside their facilities. Here in Sparks, several years ago, we awarded Wild Island, whose entire outdoor location is smoke-free. And we now have the opportunity to award the City of Sparks an Extra Mile Award for their smoke and vape-free parks ordinance.
So we just passed that. About a year ago, I guess that was actually passed. And just recently, we put up all of the signs and we had a press conference about that. How important is smoke and vape-free parks in our region?
It's really important from the public health point of view. We have outdoor areas that are intended to be places where people can be healthy, take a walk, enjoy the playground with kids, and having it be smoke-free and vape-free contributes to that. It's a quality of life piece that we're really happy to see take place here in our community.
Well, we were so thankful to get that award. That is so nice of you to do that. I know a lot of people are saying, how do you enforce that? How is somebody supposed to know that they're not supposed to be doing that? I know we have some signage, but if they do that, how are we enforcing that?
Well, enforcement for these types of things is always a big question. We talk about social enforcement. So a lot of times when we hear enforcement, we think about law enforcement, maybe park rangers trying to enforce this, but we start with exactly what you said, those signage and the education, because the vast majority of people, when they know the rule exists, they will abide by it. So that's the first piece, is as a society, we kind of self-regulate ourselves, and if we know we're not supposed to, we're not going to do it in our parks and open spaces. Each jurisdiction has some leeway to provide penalties if they need to, but that is definitely not the first step. The first steps are always the education, the signage, and letting people know and have awareness that this is in place.
And you mentioned education. Where can you find out more about the smoke and vape-free laws? Where can you go to a website in particular?
We're working on making sure that's going to be up and available on all our regional parks and websites. City of Reno, City of Sparks, Washoe County, and Sun Valley General Improvement District all implemented this. So it's a real regional effort. A lot of times people don't really recognize if they're in a Washoe County park or a Sparks park or Reno, and so we're really happy this is a regional parks effort, and we're going to make sure that people have that information on all the websites.
And we were happy to work with other entities on this too, so it was a really great collaborative effort. Anything else you want to add about this?
If I could just share some comments. You know, I've received a little bit of feedback, and when looking at the social media comments, sometimes people don't understand why we did this, but just wanted to share that Sparks and our wider community did a survey about this and had overwhelming positive, supportive feedback from the public. This past summer, we had the opportunity to ask people at an outdoor event why they support smoke-free outdoors. And I'd just like to read a couple of the comments, if I may. I have asthma that's triggered by smoke. I used to smoke, and being around it makes it hard. I have lung disease. We would love to enjoy the beautiful air and have a great time together. I have allergies to smoke. And so I have several more, but just want to point out that there are real consequences that some people have to exposure to secondhand smoke, and the public really overwhelming support, and we get these comments from folks that appreciate being able to go to an outdoor space like a park and not have that exposure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kelly. I so appreciate being here, and we thank you for the award. It's really very nice of you.
It was an honor to be able to give it.
Oh, thank you. My next guest is Dr. Richard Simmons from the Sparks Museum, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit. Recently you did a presentation before our City Council about the Sparks Museum, and there's so much going on there, including, I know there was a First Saturdays and things like that. Can you tell us some things that are going on?
You know, the First Saturday events are presentations by people from, not necessarily from the museum itself, but we try to make the subjects Sparks related. We've had presentations on Prater Way. We've had presentations on some of the arts when we've had art exhibits in the Cultural Center. And it's just a general mishmash of subjects. And for example, I gave one on myself on the Apollo program during the 50th anniversary week of Apollo.
You said at the council meeting that there's a Sparks connection to the Apollo. What is that?
Well, a lot of people aren't aware of this. There's a community called Spanish Springs. It, at one time back in the 1950s and 60s, belongs to, I think it was something like 6,000 acre field laboratory with a company called Rocketdyne. And about 80% of the rocket technology that took us to the moon and back was tested here in Sparks.
Wow.
Including the individual rockets that landed the guys on the moon and took them off from the moon were tested in Sparks before being sent to the Cape to be integrated into the spacecraft.
So that's a definite Sparks connection there.
Absolutely.
Thank you. A little bit of trivia, and that's great information and things like that. People can come to the Sparks Museum and learn about things like that in this First Saturday series.
That and the general purpose of the museum, when it was founded over 30 years ago, was to preserve the history of Sparks in northern Nevada. We emphasize Sparks, but we also have material that represents northern Nevada.
So people can come in and they have not only just series, but they also have activities too that go on in Sparks for just general public to come and take part of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For example, the most popular one probably is Pictures with Santa.
Oh, yeah.
We provide the Santa Claus facility during the hometown Christmas parades.
Right, so there's that, and then we have Pumpkin Palooza. I know we take part in that. That's always fun, and the holidays are coming up.
We had over 1,000 people visit the train during Pumpkin Palooza this year.
Wow, so tell us a little bit about the train.
The static train display is actually owned, the engine is owned by the Railroad Museum in Carson. The other cars are owned by the City of Sparks. And the train was local in the sense it was a Northern Nevada Railroad at the time. But that's open for guided tours on Saturday. They're free. We have one of our board members who dresses as a conductor, and he's Dick Dryland. He gives the guided tours. And it's open during special events like rib cook-off and
Hot August Nights. Yeah.
Thank you. I blanked on that. And we have the old schoolhouse, which is next door. That schoolhouse was the last one-room schoolhouse, active one-room schoolhouse. In fact, one of our volunteers graduated from that school.
Wow.
So that makes it very. When she is present as the teacher, she can talk about her experiences at the schoolhouse.
So people can come and get tours of the engine and the schoolhouse on any Saturday?
Normally on any Saturday and during special events.
Right. How exciting. And there's so much history in there for people to learn about.
Absolutely. We're basically run by volunteers. We have one part-time paid employee.
Okay.
And everything else is done by the volunteers. And that's another thing we emphasize. We're always looking for new volunteers. It's everything from a 2.5 hour stint on the reception desk to helping with the exhibits to helping with the accession and the record keeping.
Right.
So there's lots of opportunities for volunteers.
Right, so if you're looking to volunteer, we'd love to have you come down to the Sparks Museum. There's a lot of opportunity there and kind of full steam ahead.
And all ages are welcome.
All ages, that's excellent. Anything else you want to mention about the museum? I'm prejudiced, of course. I think it's probably one of the better local historical museums in the state. There are a couple others that are certainly more extensive than ours, so we have limited space.
We try to try to freshen the exhibits differently and change. We have 2 changing galleries that change about every 60 to 90 days, as well as we try to change the main exhibits up somewhat so it's different when you come at different times. And obviously we would love to have more members.
Right. So more members. I know we did a Last Chance Joe license plate. That's
Yes,
probably.
Thank you for reminding me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this Last Chance Joe license plates, you can still sign up for them. Unfortunately, at the end of this calendar year, it'll be the end for signing up. Anybody who currently has them, as long as they renew the license plates, we still get a proportion of that renewal. And to us, it's a significant portion of our income.
Well, and we love Last Chance Joe and Sparks, and we
Well,
just did a
that was
renovation.
That was a huge project.
Yes.
I won't go into the details, but I was not the president at the time, but we undertook that at the request of one of the city council members, and it ended up being probably the largest project we ever did.
Right. Well, he looks great.
He does to me.
Right, he does.
I'm
He looks
prejudiced.
very good. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much, and please come on down to the Sparks Museum. We'd love to have you go down there. There's just so much to offer there. So, thank you again, Dr. Simmons, for being our guest.
Thank you for
Right.
this opportunity.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm very excited about my next guest as well. It's Fire Chief Jim Reid, and we are going to talk about September being National Preparedness Month. And what does that mean?
Well, thanks for having me, Julie. Yeah, Preparedness Month in September, it means get ready, get your family ready, be prepared for something that might happen, whether you're going to shelter in place or whether you got to evacuate and get out of your neighborhood.
So how can people prepare? What are some things that a family can do to prepare?
Well, you can have a plan, with your family that is in the house, families outside of the house, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, relatives. If something's happening in your neighborhood, they want to make sure you're okay. So always have a plan, a communication plan.
Where you're going to meet? things like
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
just like a fire drill. Where are you going to meet? Or where, if your community is evacuated, what restaurant are you going to meet at? Things like that. Just things to talk about. And
Right.
a lot of times, you are asked to shelter in place. So that would mean you're not going to get out. So food, water, how long are you going to be able to last for, being self-sustained, in your own house.
So keeping things in your own house, if you have to be evacuated, what kind of things do you put in a go bag, for example?
Well, everyone's going to be a little bit personal
Right.
with that, but some
But
big
have one
things,
ready.
Right. It'd probably be your medications, probably some financial stuff, things like that. Maybe a change of clothes. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but probably the keys, to get you a day or two for the most
Water.
part would be, some water, some food, some snacks, and like I said, the financial stuff that you don't want to lose, and the medication so that you can get along for a few days.
So really the most important thing to think about is to think about it,
Right.
to make sure you're kind of prepared for that.
Yeah,
So,
just think ahead of what
emergencies.
you might need, so that way if it does happen, you're not going to, go, oh no, and then have to start thinking about everything you need.
And there's certain great resources that are out there regionally. One of them is signing up for what's called Code Red. And I just learned about this. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Code Red is a great thing that we started in Washoe County. It's being pushed by the emergency management people up at Park Boulevard. And you sign up, it's called Code Red. You can go to their website and do that, and then you get notifications on your cell phone.
So I just signed up for it. I wanted to make sure I was signed up for it. Super simple. You just put in your phone number and email address, and it's something that if there were an emergency, they would just send you out text alerts or email alerts on maybe if there was an evacuation or something like that.
Evacuation, flood, whatever the incident might be, or just to avoid an area or whether it's a police incident, fire incident, things like that.
Anything else that you'd like to tell us about being prepared or what National Preparedness Month is, just for us to kind of learn about?
Well, I think it's just one of those things, like you said, it's just the time to prepare ahead of time, because that's when you'll have your thoughts all together and you can gather everything, even if you just make a list and put that somewhere. Hey, I need to gather these things while you're calm and cool, rather than, if someone's frazzled, the officers are at your door saying you need to get out, you might forget something. So yeah, just prepare that list, know where you're going to go, know how you're going to communicate with family and friends, so everyone knows that everyone gets out safely.
great. That's such great information. And we will be having a lot of information on our City of Sparks website, links to signing up for the Code Red
Perfect.
alerts and things like that. So thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate you being here.
Right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I'm Julie Dole with Spotlight on Sparks. And as always, it's happening here in Sparks.